WEFM 99.9 this morning. I don't know where I got WW from. You're listening to myself, Ari, and next to me, of course, is Roleza. Well, I was losing my train of thought this morning, so boy. But this morning, we're gonna discuss. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Once again, we won't have commentary from Sian today. Sian is still on vacation, I would say, and instead, you have activated mornings once again. We will continue the topic. And this morning, we're talking now about, in this segment, the police versus the homicides and gun control here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So at the beginning of this segment, we'll have to talk about the guy who was recently charged with the murder, the September murder in Bookament Bay. I remember a lot of persons were shocked in September when they awoke to news that a guy was just laying there in the road in Bookament, apparently on his way to work. So according to Eyewitness News, police have arrested and charged Romano Russian Andrews of Proven Vale or Clare Valley in connection with the September 7, 2023 shooting death of Jovain, or is it Jovan? Jovain Batiste in Bookament Bay. Batiste, a 20-year-old construction worker of Rose Place, was gunned down around 7:55 a.m. while walking to work at the construction site of Sandals Beaches Resort. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Trevor Butchubedi was responsible for crime fighting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, announced the arrest and charge during a press conference that happened yesterday at the police headquarters in Kingstown. Batiste was shot some 16 times by a gunman who reportedly fired from two handguns along the feeder road that runs along the Bookament Bay Secondary School and the SDA Primary School. Initial reports were that Batiste was killed by a masked assailant who had been sitting under a small hedge nearby for some time before committing the crime. Batiste was wearing headphones, and when he was set upon as he walked to work. So police were hoping that footage from CCTV mounted in the area could help in cracking the case. Yeah, the story doesn't say if the CCTV was the reason behind the arrest, but again, people can't say that the police not working. They are working, and this is evidence of this. Now you're innocent until proven guilty, but there's an arrest and there's someone accused, and Romano Andrews is that person the police believe committed this murder in Bookament.
As you said that you're innocent until proven guilty, I've always found that interesting or funny. Because I always say, if you don't think that I am guilty, then you won't necessarily charge me with a crime. So I feel a lot of the times is I am guilty until proven innocent. But we have a call. I call it good morning. Oh, call the left. Yeah, I don't know, because if you pick me up, you feel that you have a very strong suspicion or you have very strong evidence to prove that I am guilty.
You know what's interesting? People always say, "Oh, the police are human," but they're not human when they accuse people. Immediately, whatever they accuse you of is the crime that you committed. They could be very wrong. Yeah, plenty of times they are very wrong. So the police saying that, okay, this person committed this crime, it doesn't mean that they committed the crime. So again, that's why I always say you're innocent until proven guilty. Right, we just say guilty until proven innocent. We
have a call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Lisa. How are you doing?
I am all right. What about you?
Well, once you're all right, I'm okay.
You're good. Okay. All right. Happy to hear
man.
That.
Yes, man. You are there.
Yes, good morning.
I can't, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I mean, this crime thing, though, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that I'm in my situation. I am a man who used to be on the road 24/7, and when I look back at that now, I have to say, maybe it's the best thing that happened to me that I'm not on the road like how I used to be back then. And so it is amazing to me with all these, crimes or homicides or whatever I'm hearing about happening today. I'm wondering if I'm living in the same place called St. Vincent and the Grenadines, home of the blessing. I never had no fear. I never had no fear at all. But when I'm hearing all these reports coming at us every day, coming to us every day, yeah, I feel, something is right. Something is rather strange. I would wish some able-bodied person, man or woman, could do a survey. I just saw that report from Jamaica. What happened in Jamaica, where over 1,000 people being interviewed, and the responses that came from them as to why there's such a high murder rate in Jamaica. Well, when you talk about Jamaica, I'm accustomed to hearing about Jamaica with their high murder rate. And this has been going on for years. And it's not slowing down. It's not getting better. Trinidad as well. Now, when we have to be compared with these places, I don't know what to say. I mean, and then, so I'm suggesting maybe some bright persons, can do an investigation into our situation, do a survey.
Joshua saying you do the survey.
Me, tell him. Who can respond to Joshua? Tell him I'm incapacitated right now. Tell him that. People love to,
You could do it by phone. You just probably need to.
No. I ain't got no money to think on that, man. Yes, I could do it by phone if somebody sponsor me, fine.
Yeah.
But I've been studying all these criminal activities, and sometimes I wonder how brilliant, what kind of mind we have when it comes to dealing with these crimes and somehow I feel we're not doing enough, and we are short of the intelligence that we need to have. Another thing is, it's a small country. I mean, and just related to that, so I believe a lot of things are covered up. Look, we had a crime here, a homicide or killing, however you want to call it. A lawyer was shot in Kingston, the heart of Kingston, at high noon. I say high noon because it was midday time. Nobody see, nobody talk. Think about that. Nobody see, nobody talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the heart of Kingston, high midday, high noon, like I said. Nobody see, nobody talk.
I remember that story.
So we're trying to tell me, yes, Roleza, these are things, but we just show cold water on these things. And that's why I have to speak with a passion. I could have been a top cop in this situation. Since business is small to have this kind of ridiculous criminal activity or activities going on. That's why I have to speak. Okay. I have the most intelligence in the world, but it's backward and it's corruption, as Jamaica says, corruption and poverty, the people that they did the survey with. And a lot of that goes on here too. And anyhow, I think I tell you.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Dave. All right. It's interesting that Dave is raising that point because if I remember correctly, that murder happened maybe more than 20 years ago. Well, no, it's much more than 20 years ago. And if it happened in high daytime and nobody see, nobody talk, and we still have the same situation up to present day, people don't see, people don't talk. It's a problem or an issue that has been going on for decades, So, we need to find a way to address it. People need to feel safe with the information that they're going to provide. Because police by themselves can't do everything. They can't solve everything by themselves, and it does take society's efforts. Yeah.
I saw Joshua said on the live earlier, if you're innocent, why are you arrested? That has to be one of the most ignorant statements I've heard in a very long time. Because why would there be projects such as the Innocence Projects? Why would there be cases being appealed? Why are there cases going to the Court of Appeal and being overturned? there are cases when people are wrongfully arrested and wrongfully convicted. And that is why the police officers are being trained, because the human element, people always forget the human element when it comes to situations like this, but remember it when they're vulnerable. Humans make mistakes, police officers make mistakes. They sometimes gather the wrong evidence. They sometimes present the wrong evidence, and so some people lose their freedom because of it. And it happens. It happens every day across the world. It happens. So I can't say just because police arrested somebody means that they're guilty of something.
Right.
I can never
think of it
subscribe to
in the
that.
context of you have all of this evidence against somebody, yes, there is a space for human error. Yes, we know that there can be wrongful convictions. But what we're saying, or what I'm saying, right? And I didn't even realize that you're going to take it as serious as I've meant it. But the point that I'm making is that you have all of this evidence against me, right? So you strongly believe that I am guilty of whatever the offense is. And then when we go to court, I have to prove my innocence. That's all I'm saying to it.
Yeah, but under what authority? Some of these things are personal attacks.
Okay, Ari.
Some of these, yeah, okay, Ari, dismiss it, but we
No, I'm
can't
not
say.
dismissing it, but
we can't say
because
things like
the thing
you're
of it is
guilty
that-
once the
no.
police accuse you of
Okay,
something. That's
so
wrong.
I know it's in the context in which I meant it. You're probably not.
I'm not talking about what you said. I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about what Joshua said. That's what I said. Joshua said on the live that you're innocent. What if you're innocent? Why the police lock you up? It right there.
Yeah, but it's the same thing that I was saying, is that you believe that I do have. There's more. Okay, let's call and I get back to it. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You
Good
just
morning.
mentioned the term go to court because innocence and guilt is determined in a court of law.
Mhm.
Whether a person do something or didn't do something has simply no bearing. It's the court of law and the evidence that determines innocence or guilt. So there
Correct.
is a difference.
Mhm.
So thank you.
All right, no
Thank
problem.
you. And then what happens in court is also quite subjective, because it's not about, and anyone who is in the court long enough will say the same thing. It's not about whether you are in fact guilty or innocent. It's what can be proven in court.
Right, and it's
So-
the evidence that's presented.
so you
have to
don't
have
know.
the evidence. You have to have the evidence to strongly believe that I am guilty to take me to court. Isn't that the case?
You'd like to believe that. When you
right.
sit down in court, when you
Mm.
sit down in court and you hear what's presented, sometimes you're wondering, what's the point of them arresting this person?
Mm.
So not all the time, but
So-
it does
right,
happen.
Right. So in
And-
those cases, then we're happy to see that the charges would be dismissed because there's clearly not enough evidence. Right?
So then why are you guilty until proven innocent?
because you're bringing all of this evidence towards me, but as the caller
Quote
said,
unquote evidence.
as the caller said, in the courts of law, that is where the determination is made whether I am actually guilty or I'm actually innocent.
And in the court of law, as I said, it's also subjective because it is what is proven, or how you're able to convince the court that this person is guilty. It doesn't mean that the person is guilty. But
All right, okay, so let's just read this comment. So I'm presently listening to Ari. I'm not sure, so you're going to have to talk about the Ariel, so you have a new variation there. And a young lady who are making valid points concerning the police training. This is what we spoke about in the last segment. I agree with what was said. This is coming from Sherlyn. She's saying, yes, they need to continue training, maybe every 2 years, because this training will come with a cost. There needs to be manuals in place from the training. The SOP, ACP, DCOP, and COP, and others should be able to know enough from this training to guide the non-commissioned officers and constables. I know of officers retiring.
I know as
information-
officers retire.
I know
information
as
and-
officers retire, information in most instances is not passed on, right? Each unit should have periodical training using the manual as a guide, so the information will be fresh in the officers' heads. Police could be transferred to any unit, so it would be good if different units get on board. And very valid point, Sherlyn.
I have something to say about that, but we're only live. But we'll go to ads right now. The time is now 8 o'clock. And your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of